Thank you very much for the possibility to share the Code of Ethics of European Psychiatry, Psychiatric Association with you. First of all, congratulations to your 115th anniversary Congresso, Società Italiana di Psichiatria. Sorry, I'm not well familiar with Italian. So I'm happy to be here. I would like to share with you my slides. First of all, it's a pleasure for me to share this Code of Ethics, ethical guide for European psychiatrists with all of you. Our committee has these members. You can see that, for example, Silvana Galdarisi is also a member of our committee. You know Silvana Galdarisi is also the chairperson of the Standing Committee of Ethics and Review of the World Psychiatric Association. I'm happy that we have also other members from different parts of Europe in our committee, for example, from Israel, from Poland, from Sweden, from Portugal, and so on. So we are also on the way to do really good job and good work on ethical issues. And we, as you can see, have a gender balance in our committee. Now looking to the term of ethics. What does it mean? It captures a variety of moral standards and values being held by a person with himself. And looking to the necessity of such kinds of code of ethics, we know that the American Psychiatric Association was the first association which developed a code of ethics because they observed a lot of maltreatment or malpractices in the 60s. It was in the beginning of 1917. And we know also that there is a complex relationship between medical ethics and legal standards, which is not always unproblematic. Looking now to the biomedical ethics, a widely used general concept is the one of Beecham and Childress, who formulated 4 basic principles. So these principles of ethical guidelines, the first one is respect for the person, autonomy, respect for the autonomy of the person, beneficent, doing good, non-maleficent, not doing harm, and justice, treating people fairly, regardless their backgrounds and their additional issues. So these are the cornerstones of modern ethical codes for the health professionals, for all of us, for the psychiatry as well, of course. Looking some selected important areas for ethical considerations. For example, doctor-patient relationships are not everywhere equal. In some parts of Europe, we have really very hierarchical conditions where patients are not well used with, for example, decision-making processes and so on. In other parts, the relationship is much more like partnership. They discuss about diagnosis, about treatment possibilities, agreements, and so on. So informed consent procedures are also a very important topic in this area. Supported decision-making process again, or substituted decisions. Or another point is, for example, resource allocations. We know that psychiatry in different parts of not only Europe, but looking to Europe, is not well distributed. So psychiatric patients are people who have really less resources for treatment issues and other issues regarding their treatment, care, rehabilitation, and so on. Data protection aspects are very important. In Germany, for example, it is very restricted, and it is very difficult also to do research and so on because of these very hard or very restrictive data protection aspects. Duty on confidentiality. Of course, we have to respect the confidentiality. And end-of-life decisions, for example, assisted suicide. This is a very hot topic, for example, in Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, and so on. Other very important topics are also interpersonal or interprofessional, interdisciplinary relationships, working together in a partnership, valuable circumstances is important for us. Psychiatry and society, psychiatry and research, or psychiatry and the relationship to third parties, for example, to pharmaceutical industry and other companies. And looking to the EPA now, we had prepared EPA Code of Ethics. It was under the chairperson, Danuta Wasserman. Danuta Wasserman is now the president of the World Psychiatric Association, and it was approved by the EPA General Assembly in 2021, so approximately 50 years after the American Psychiatric Association. You can find the Code of Ethics in our website, of course. And some fundamental values which I would like to share with you, for example, is that we psychiatrists must uphold the responsibility and ethical demands of the medical professions and specific to psychiatry and working with mental health, for example. Or another one is practicing ethical psychiatry requires awareness, sensitivity and empathy for our patients as individuals. It's including, of course, their cultural backgrounds, their beliefs, their sexual orientations, and so on. And we have to uphold the obligation to advocate for universal healthcare for everyone, for all our patients, and fair and appreciate prevention, care, treatment, and rehabilitation for persons with mental disorders within these available resources in our countries. Furthermore, we shall not discriminate our patients or their relatives and so on the basis of age, race, color, ethnicity, nationality, religion, sex, maybe also on regarding social standing or criminal background or political opinions or affiliations. Furthermore, there are many specific aspects of, for example, detention and compulsion. So avoidance of all involuntary measures whenever possible. These should be the last resort. Avoidance of substitute decisions whenever possible, of course, again, and promotion of supported decision-making processes, capabilities, and so on. Promotion and support of advanced care plannings, doing agreements with patients, which could be really very good for the further cooperation, adherence of the patients, and so on. Use, when not available, the least restrictive alternative for time shortest duration if possible. So the duration of patients in hospitals or in treatment possibilities could be evaluated. Consider problems of acting in the interest of third parties, of course, and avoid any kind of misuse of psychiatry institutions, but also psychiatrists as a profession, which is not done in all parts of the world, of course. Now to the role of our committee. What is the role of the Committee of Ethical Issues of an EPA? Dissemination of a code of ethics, of course, which we are doing. For example, I'm doing it now. Thank you very much again for the slot and the possibility to do it here now. Of course, share knowledge and experiences, skills with colleagues, of course, with you, with NPAs, and so on. For example, in doing alternatives or learning alternatives to coercion. Ethical counseling, case discussions could be very helpful in some cases. Explicit use of formal clinical ethics supports, if you want. And more active and systematic use of implicit ways of working with moral concerns and ethical challenges in practice, such as team meetings, spontaneous discussions, could it be, or teachings. Furthermore, critical discussions and advice on the legal regulations of coercive measures. The regulations are very different in different countries, so we can compare and discuss about them. Exchange of information on good clinical practices. There are many possibilities to get more information about good clinical practices. Initiation of pilot projects, why not? For the reduction of coercion measures, alternatives of coercion, advice on the harmonizing of code of ethics with the code of ethics of EPA and national psychiatric associations. Furthermore, cooperation with service users, but also with caregivers, family members, and so on. And our main goal is, of course, one of these main goals are reduction of coercion. So we, the Committee on Ethical Issues, is responsible for giving its contribution to the EPA position statements on ethical aspects, ethical subjects, topics, collaborating with the national psychiatric associations to promote ethical standards in psychiatric research, again, teaching, care, and working. Organizing events, of course, during our congresses, but also in between the congresses. And it is important for us to do this regarding different topics. There are many topics which we faced or which we dealt with. And actively gathering information through surveys on how ethics in psychiatry is being managed in Europe and elsewhere. So therefore we conduct surveys. For example, this survey on ethics in psychiatric practice. I invite you to join this survey and support us. We need much more data if we want to give some information or collect some information about ethics in psychiatric practice. And we want to get this information from inpatient treatment settings of individuals' wards in different psychiatric hospitals, Europe-wide, and we want to get information about experiences and practices addressing ethical conflicts and malpractice from the personal perspective, from the staff, from you, medical doctors, psychiatrists, nurses, and other colleagues. Of course, we want to identify and engage with violence and measures for the reduction of restraints and coercion. It would be great if you could support us in this issue. Looking to activities which we have till now and will do also in the future. For example, we organize several webinars, one on alternatives to coercion, one on ethical dilemmas as psychiatrists, and another one which we already organized is transgender ethical dilemmas and mental health issue, which will be by the end of June. You are very invited to join this webinar. It's for free. And in this webinar, we will discuss about transgender issues, for example, ethical boundaries in children and adolescents, but also ensuring care for transgender adolescents, response to reconsidering informed consent for trans identified children, adolescents, and youth, our patients. So you are very welcome to join our activities and our surveys and discuss with us on ethical issues, ethical subjects and topics. Thank you very much for your attention.